Ethan lived on the Orbitus station, a massive space station that circled a bright blue star on the edge of human-colonized space. He was a young engineer, talented and precise, known for fixing almost anything that needed repair. Yet despite his skills, he lived a quiet life. Most of his days were spent repairing engines, calibrating sensors, and maintaining the station's systems. It was a routine life, safe and predictable, but Ethan sometimes felt it was missing something. That changed the day Lyra arrived. Lyra was an alien from the Virilan species, a small, slender humanoid race with soft, glowing skin and large, curious eyes. Their kind was known for playfulness and intelligence, traits that often surprised humans who expected aliens to be serious or cold. Lyra had been brought to Orbitus Station as part of a cultural exchange program. But for Ethan, she became much more: a friend, a companion, and, in her own words, his loyal helper. From the very first day, Lyra had a way of brightening the station. Her curiosity was endless. She would wander through corridors, poke at machinery, and ask questions no human had thought to ask. But it wasn't just curiosity that made Lyra special. It was her enthusiasm. When she discovered something new, her small, glowing hands would clap together and her eyes would shine like twin stars. Ethan found himself smiling more than he had in months. One quiet evening, after a long day fixing a malfunctioning air filter, Ethan sat in the small lounge of his quarters. Lyra floated beside him, her thin legs crossed and her head tilted. She had spent the day assisting him, carrying tools, organizing parts, and even helping clean up his messy workshop. Now she looked at him with a bright, hopeful expression. "Ethan, can we do it again tonight, please?" she asked softly. Her voice carried a musical quality, almost like the hum of a gentle engine. Ethan chuckled. "Do what again?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. "The stargazing simulation," Lyra replied, pointing at the hollow projector in the center of the room. "The one we did yesterday. The one with the comet passing by." Ethan laughed. He remembered it well. Yesterday, after finishing his work, he had powered up the hollow projector and run a simulation of the nearby star system. Lyra had been mesmerized by it, moving her hands through the floating images of planets and stars as if she could touch them. She had laughed when a comet zoomed past a virtual asteroid and clapped when it disappeared into the distance. "You really liked it," Ethan said. "I did. It was magical," Lyra said. "I want to see it again, please." Her earnest eyes were impossible to ignore. Ethan shook his head, smiling. All right. Let's do it." He tapped the controls on the hollow projector and the room filled with soft blue light. Stars glittered around them, tiny and bright. Planets slowly rotated in their orbits. The simulation was so realistic that Ethan sometimes forgot it wasn't real. Lyra's eyes widened as she reached out to touch a spinning asteroid. "It feels so alive," she whispered. Ethan watched her quietly, a warm feeling spreading in his chest. Lyra's joy was infectious. He had never realized how much a simple simulation could feel so meaningful. The simulation shifted, and a comet appeared on the edge of the star system. Its icy tail glowed as it raced past planets and moons. Lyra gasped and twirled in the holographic light. "It's so beautiful. Look at it." Ethan smiled and joined her, pointing at the comet's path. "It's passing close to the asteroid belt. If you time it right, you can almost follow it through the rocks." Lyra's small hands moved in graceful arcs, tracing the comet's tail through the asteroid belt. Her face lit with excitement and her laughter echoed through the lounge. Ethan felt a strange mix of amusement and admiration. Lyra was small, but her energy seemed boundless. When the comet finally disappeared, Lyra sank to the floor, floating slightly above it as she hovered in zero gravity. She looked up at Ethan. "Can we do it again tomorrow?" she asked softly. Ethan shook his head with a laugh. "You're really going to make me schedule this like a daily event, aren't you?" "I think so," she said with a grin. "It's fun. And I like spending time with you, Ethan." Ethan's smile softened. He had never expected to feel so connected to anyone on Orbitus Station. Most of his life had been isolated, surrounded by machines and screens. But now, with Lyra, even the hum of the engines felt less lonely. As the night went on, Ethan and Lyra explored more of the simulation. They flew through the asteroid belt, dodged meteors, and even examined a virtual abandoned space station, drifting silently among the stars. Lyra's excitement never waned. and Ethan found himself laughing more than he had in years. At one point, Lyra paused and floated close to him. "Ethan, do you think real space is as beautiful as this?" she asked. Ethan thought for a moment. "Maybe, but even if it isn't, it's worth seeing for yourself. There's something different about being there, seeing it with your own eyes. You feel smaller, but also part of something bigger." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. "I want to see it. I want to go on adventures like this. For real." Ethan nodded slowly. "One day maybe we will. But for now, this will do." They watched the stars in comfortable silence for a few minutes, the hum of the holoprojector filling the room. Then as the simulation ended, Lyra floated closer to Ethan, her eyes full of curiosity. "Can we do it again tonight, please?" she repeated, this time referring to the idea of trying something new, something fun, something they hadn't even thought of yet. Ethan chuckled softly. "All right, let's see what else we can do tonight." He brought up a navigation chart of nearby star systems. Lyra leaned in, fascinated. Her fingers traced routes between stars, imagining adventures they could take. Ethan realized that for the first time in a long time, he wasn't just repairing things or fixing systems. He was planning something exciting, sharing a bond that made his quiet life feel alive. Lyra's enthusiasm was contagious. As they plotted possible destinations, she suggested they visit a nearby ice planet simulation next. She wanted to explore frozen caves, alien wildlife, and even floating icebergs. Ethan smiled at her ideas. Some were impractical, but all were fun. And for the first time, he didn't care about practicality. By the time they finished setting up the ice planet simulation, the station's lights dimmed, indicating that the crew had gone to rest. But Ethan and Lyra stayed awake, lost in the adventure they had created. The ice planet stretched out before them in shimmering holographic light, jagged peaks glowing under a simulated sun. Lyra floated forward, giggling as she skated across frozen lakes, leaving trails of holographic frost in her wake. Ethan followed, enjoying her laughter and the simple joy of the moment. They explored icy caves, discovered holographic alien creatures, and even climbed frozen cliffs. Lyra's energy never faltered. Every new sight brought gasps and laughter. Finally, after hours of exploration, they returned to the lounge, exhausted but happy. Lyra floated in front of Ethan, her glowing skin softly pulsing in the dim light. "That was amazing," she said. "Can we do it again tomorrow?" Ethan smiled, shaking his head. "You don't stop, do you?" "No," she said with a grin. "I like adventures. And I like spending time with you, Ethan. Can we do it again tonight, please?" Ethan laughed again, realizing that this little alien maid had changed his life. Her energy, curiosity, and joy had broken through his quiet, lonely routine. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly alive. "All right," he said finally. "Tonight we'll try something new. Tomorrow, who knows?" Lyra's eyes sparkled with delight, and Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. He didn't know what adventures awaited them, but he knew one thing for certain. With Lyra by his side, life would never be boring again. As the stars twinkled outside the station windows, Ethan and Lyra planned their next adventure, ready to face whatever the galaxy had in store. And for the first time in a long time, Ethan felt that he was not alone. Not really. The night was young. The stars were bright, and the adventure had only just begun. The next evening, Ethan returned to his quarters with a sense of quiet anticipation. The day had been long, full of routine repairs on the station's life support systems, but his thoughts kept drifting to Lyra. Ever since she had arrived, his life had been brighter, fuller, and surprisingly unpredictable. Lyra was already waiting when he arrived, floating near the holoprojector with her hands clasped in front of her. Her glowing skin pulsed softly in excitement. "Ethan," she exclaimed, "I've been waiting for you. Can we do it again tonight, please?" Ethan laughed and shook his head. "You really don't stop, do you?" "No," she said happily. "Adventures are better when we do them together." He powered on the holoprojector, and the room was filled with soft blue light once more. The stars shimmered around them. Planets rotated slowly, and the familiar simulation of the nearby star system stretched out in every direction. Ethan had adjusted the simulation since last night, adding new features, moving asteroids, subtle gravitational shifts, and the ability to fly through space at will. Lyra's eyes widened as she reached out, touching a virtual asteroid. "It's alive," she whispered. "Almost," Ethan said. It's all simulated, but you can interact with it as if it were real. For several minutes, they explored the simulation, dodging asteroids, flying past planets, and laughing as they chased a holographic comet through the star system. Then, as Lyra adjusted her sensors on a nearby virtual moon, something unusual appeared. A faint blip of light, almost imperceptible, pulsed at the edge of the simulation. Lyra's large eyes narrowed. "Ethan, do you see that?" she asked. Ethan leaned closer to the holoprojector. "See what?" "That signal," Lyra said, pointing. "It's strange. I think it's coming from a real source, not the simulation." Ethan frowned. "A real signal? Are you sure?" Lyra nodded, her small hands moving quickly across the interface. "Yes, it's faint, but it's there. Something is out there sending a message." Ethan's curiosity was piqued. Though the simulation was supposed to be just for fun, the idea of a real signal coming from space sparked something inside him. "All right," he said, "let's see what it is. Maybe it's a transmission from another ship or a distress call." Lyra's eyes shone with excitement. "Can we investigate?" "Can we really go?" Ethan hesitated. Exploring unknown signals could be dangerous. The station had protocols, and venturing into deep space without clearance was risky. But when he looked at Lyra's hopeful face, he felt a sense of adventure he hadn't felt in years. "Okay," he said finally. "We'll investigate, but carefully." Lyra's smile was radiant. "Thank you, Ethan. I promise it will be safe. And fun." The two of them prepared a small exploration drone, one that Ethan had built for routine inspections outside the station. The drone was equipped with sensors, cameras, and a small propulsion system, perfect for tracing faint signals in space. Once ready, Ethan and Lyra activated the drone and sent it toward the source of the mysterious signal. The holoprojector displayed its progress in real time. Stars and planets shifted as the drone moved further into the simulation, its sensors scanning every object it passed. Minutes passed, and then the drone transmitted its first images. There, floating silently among a dense asteroid belt, was a derelict alien ship. Its hull was scarred and pitted as if it had survived both battle and time. Strange symbols glowed faintly on its surface, though the meaning was unknown. Ethan and Lyra exchanged a glance. "It looks abandoned," Ethan said quietly. "Or waiting," Lyra added. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Maybe someone left a message on board." "Maybe we can help them," Ethan hesitated. "It could be dangerous. We don't know what's inside or if it's trapped or worse." "I know," Lyra said softly, "but I can feel it, Ethan. Something is calling us, and I want to see it." "Please," Ethan smiled. He had learned not to underestimate Lyra's instincts. Her kind had a remarkable ability to detect patterns and energy that humans often missed. If she felt drawn to this ship, it was worth investigating. "All right," he said finally. "We'll take the drone closer and scan everything. No direct boarding yet. Safety first." The drone glided closer, its sensors sending streams of data back to Ethan's console. The readings were unusual. The ship emitted a low-frequency signal, repeating in a strange rhythm. Lyra adjusted the drone's sensors. "It's structured," she said. "It's definitely a message. Maybe a distress call." Ethan's curiosity deepened. "A distress call? From who?" Lyra's small hands hovered over the console. "I don't know yet, but we'll find out." For the next hour, they carefully examined the ship with the drone. Its hull was large, much bigger than any human vessel they had encountered. Rusted panels hinted at age, but other areas were strangely well preserved. The energy signature came from a small compartment near the rear of the ship. "I think that's the source," Lyra said, pointing at the holoprojector. "If we can access it, maybe we can understand the message." Ethan nodded. "It's risky, but I think we can manage it remotely." "Let's try." Using the drone, they sent a small probe into the compartment. The probe transmitted more data, including a holographic message. A figure appeared, glowing faintly in the blue light of the projection. It was an alien, humanoid, but unlike any species Ethan had seen. Its voice crackled as it spoke, though subtitles appeared automatically. "To anyone who finds this message, our power core has been stolen. Without it, our ship will not survive. Please help us," Lyra gasped. "They need help." Ethan nodded, his mind racing. "It's a small ship. Maybe we can retrieve the core for them, but we have to be careful. There could be pirates, traps, or other dangers." Lyra floated closer to him. "We can do it, Ethan. Together, I believe we can." He smiled, feeling a surge of determination. All right then. We'll help them. The rest of the evening was spent preparing their plan. Ethan and Lyra reviewed the data, noting the ship's location and the path of the signal. The derelict vessel drifted near an asteroid belt, providing both a hiding place and a challenge for retrieval. Lyra suggested small maneuvers through the asteroids to avoid detection, while Ethan adjusted the drone's propulsion for precision navigation. As the station's lights dimmed and the rest of the crew slept, Ethan felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He had never embarked on a mission like this before. But he wasn't alone. Lyra's presence was reassuring. Her curiosity and energy reminded him that adventure could be fun, even dangerous adventure. "Ethan," Lyra said suddenly, her glowing eyes bright in the dim light. "Tonight, this is just the beginning. I can feel it. Something bigger is out there and we're part of it." Ethan nodded. "I feel it too, but no matter what, we face it together." For a long moment they watched the simulation, the derelict ship hovering silently in the asteroid belt. The faint signal pulsed steadily, a beacon calling them forward. Outside the window, real stars shone in the darkness of space, echoing the beauty and mystery of the holographic simulation. Finally, Ethan looked at Lyra and smiled. "Tomorrow we take the first real step. Tonight, let's just imagine what we can do. Can we do it again, please?" Lyra laughed softly, floating closer. "Always, Ethan. Always." And as the stars twinkled both in the simulation and outside the station, the two companions knew that their lives had just begun to change. The mysterious signal was more than a call for help. It was the start of an adventure that neither of them would ever forget. They didn't know what awaited them in the vast darkness of space. But together they felt ready for anything. The night passed quietly, with Lyra drifting beside Ethan, occasionally reaching out to touch the glowing stars in the simulation, her excitement never fading. In the safety of their quarters, surrounded by light and laughter, they both knew one thing: tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow would be the first step into a true adventure, and for Ethan that thought filled him with a feeling he hadn't known in years: hope. The next morning Ethan woke early, his mind buzzing with plans. The mysterious signal from the derelict ship was still fresh in his thoughts. Lyra hovered beside him, her glowing eyes bright with excitement. "Are we really going?" she asked eagerly, floating in a small circle around the room. Ethan nodded. "We have to. The ship needs help, and this might be our only chance to find out what's happening. But we'll be careful." Together they prepared for the mission. Ethan checked the exploration drone, its sensors and cameras fully charged. He also packed small tools and safety equipment, just in case they needed to manually access the ship's systems. Lyra moved quickly, organizing the data they had collected and analyzing the signals to find the safest route through the nearby asteroid belt. Finally, everything was ready. Ethan and Lyra left Orbitus Station in a small agile shuttle, built for short excursions and precise maneuvers. As they approached the derelict ship, the massive structure loomed ahead, silent and still. Its hull was scarred, pockmarked with damage from meteor impacts and long years drifting through space. Yet despite its rough exterior, a faint blue glow came from the ship's engines, evidence that some systems were still alive. Lyra floated near the shuttle's control panel, her fingers brushing over the holographic display. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Even damaged, it has character. Like it has a story to tell." Ethan smiled at her observation. "You're right. Every scratch, every mark. It's part of its history. Let's hope we can give it a new chapter." The shuttle carefully maneuvered past jagged asteroids, following the path Lyra had plotted. The derelict ship was larger than they expected. Its shape was unlike anything human engineers had built, with flowing curves and segmented hulls that seemed almost alive. Ethan felt a mixture of awe and caution. "Keep the drone ready," he said. "We'll scan from the outside before we board." Lyra nodded, releasing the drone into space. It zipped forward, its sensors sweeping over the derelict ship. Images flashed on the holoprojector. Twisted metal corridors, control panels covered in strange symbols, and areas glowing with faint energy. The drone paused at the compartment from which the signal originated. "This is it," Lyra said softly, "the source of the message." Ethan adjusted the shuttle's docking clamps. "We'll attach here. The drone can give us a view inside, but we'll need to enter to fully understand what's happening." The shuttle latched onto the ship with a soft thud. Lyra activated her personal navigation sensors, scanning the surrounding area for hazards. Ethan double-checked his harness and tools. Then together, they stepped into the derelict ship through the airlock. Inside, the ship was dimly lit with soft blue lights guiding the corridors. Dust floated in small particles and the air smelled faintly metallic. The silence was broken only by the soft hum of the ship's systems. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter in excitement. "It's alive," she whispered. "Even without a crew, it feels aware." Ethan nodded. "Stay close. We don't know what's functional and what's not." They followed the drone's feed, moving through narrow corridors and larger chambers. Strange markings covered the walls, a combination of symbols and diagrams that neither of them could fully understand. Lyra reached out to touch a glowing panel and her fingers traced the symbols with delicate precision. "I can sense the energy flow," she said. "It's like the ship remembers its purpose." Ethan watched her, impressed. Lyra's connection to technology, especially alien tech, was extraordinary. While he relied on logic and engineering, she seemed to feel the ship's intentions, intuitively understanding the systems. Finally, they reached the compartment that housed the source of the signal. The room was small, with a single device glowing faintly at its center. Ethan approached carefully, analyzing the readings. "This must be the power core," he said. "It's active but unstable. If it fails, the ship could lose life support completely." Lyra hovered closer, her hands brushing over the controls. "It's delicate. Whoever designed this put a lot of thought into it." "It's clever," Ethan nodded. "We'll need to stabilize it before we can move it. Let's see if we can access the systems remotely." They connected the drone to the core's interface, watching as streams of alien code scrolled across the display. Ethan worked quickly, interpreting patterns and signals. Lyra guided him, pointing out energy flows and anomalies that his human sensors could not detect. Together they formed a perfect team, human ingenuity and alien intuition. Suddenly the core pulsed with a sharp blue light. A holographic projection appeared, showing a captain of the ship, humanoid but unlike Lyra or any human. The figure's voice crackled through the room, subtitles appearing automatically. "To whoever has found this message, our ship was attacked. Our core was stolen by space raiders. Without it, we cannot survive. Please, help us recover it." Lyra's eyes widened. "They need us." "Really need us?" Ethan frowned. "Recovering it will be dangerous. The raiders are likely still nearby, but if we can do it, we save the ship." Lyra floated closer, determination glowing in her eyes. "We can do it, Ethan, together, please." "Let us try," Ethan smiled. He had learned to trust Lyra's instincts. Her kind had remarkable intuition. If she believed they could help, he believed too. "All right," he said. "First, we stabilize the core. Then we plan how to retrieve it from the raiders. We'll do it carefully." Lyra nodded, her excitement tempered by focus. She guided Ethan's hands over the interface, showing him energy nodes and control patterns that allowed them to stabilize the core temporarily. Its glow became steady, no longer flickering dangerously. Ethan leaned back, wiping his brow. "That should hold it for now. But moving it, that's the next challenge." Lyra floated around the room, scanning for additional information. She paused at a panel, her glowing fingers tracing symbols that lit up as she touched them. "Ethan, look at this. There's a hidden map in the ship's system. It shows where the raiders might have taken the core." Ethan's eyes widened. "That's incredible. If it's accurate, we might be able to plan a direct route to them, avoiding danger." Lyra's small smile was full of excitement. "This is the adventure we were meant to have." For the next hour, they studied the map, cross-referencing asteroid belts, known pirate routes, and the positions of nearby star systems. Every detail mattered. Every decision could be the difference between success and failure. Finally, they had a plan. They would use the shuttle's stealth capabilities to approach the pirate outpost quietly. Lyra would guide them through hazards with her intuitive sense of energy flows. Ethan would handle navigation and technical systems. Together, they had a real chance. As they prepared to leave the derelict ship, Lyra paused, looking at the power core. "We'll come back for you," she whispered. "I promise," Ethan smiled. "We'll make sure the ship survives. Together." They left the compartment and made their way back to the shuttle. The derelict ship loomed silently in the asteroid belt, waiting. Ethan looked at Lyra, seeing the same mixture of excitement and determination that he felt. "Tomorrow," he said, "we begin the real mission." Are you ready? Lyra floated forward, her hands glowing softly. I was born ready, she said with a grin. Let's save the ship. As they left the derelict ship behind, heading back toward Orbitus Station to prepare for the next stage, Ethan realized something important. Lyra wasn't just an assistant or even a friend. She was a partner in adventure, someone whose energy and intelligence could match his own. And for the first time, he didn't feel alone in the galaxy. The stars outside the shuttle glimmered, distant and mysterious, hinting at the dangers and wonders that awaited them. But Ethan and Lyra were ready. Whatever the galaxy held, they would face it together. And as the shuttle moved silently through the asteroid belt, Lyra's soft voice broke the quiet. Ethan, can we do it again tomorrow? Ethan laughed. Yes, Lyra, tomorrow we face adventure, and yes, we can do it again. The night sky stretched endlessly before them, filled with stars, asteroids, and distant planets. The adventure was just beginning, and the galaxy held more secrets than they could imagine. But together, Ethan and Lyra felt unstoppable. The next day, Ethan and Lyra prepared for the real mission. The small shuttle was loaded with navigation equipment, sensors, and tools needed to retrieve the stolen power core. Ethan double-checked every system, while Lyra ran simulations in her mind, mapping the safest routes through the asteroid belts and pirate territory. This is it, Ethan said, his hand on the shuttle's controls. We can't make mistakes. The pirates are dangerous and the core is unstable. One wrong move. Lyra floated closer, her glowing eyes firm with determination. Don't worry, Ethan, we'll be careful. Together we can do this. I know it, Ethan smiled. Her confidence was contagious. All right, let's go. The shuttle left Orbitus Station and entered the dark expanse of space, moving silently toward the coordinates Lyra had found. The asteroid field ahead was dense, with massive rocks tumbling slowly through the void. Lyra guided them with her intuitive sense of energy flows, predicting where rocks might shift and how to avoid collisions. Ethan held his hand steady on the controls, adjusting thrusters with precision. Nice work, Lyra. Your instincts are amazing, Lyra grinned. I told you, we make a good team. After hours of careful navigation, they arrived near the pirate outpost. It was a small station built into a giant asteroid, cloaked in shadows and shielded from most sensors. The stolen core's energy readings were faint but detectable, coming from a chamber deep within the fortress. Ethan exhaled. This is it. Now comes the tricky part. Lyra nodded. We sneak in. I'll guide us past security. You handle the core. The shuttle moved silently, approaching a narrow entry tunnel. Using small thrusters, Ethan and Lyra guided the craft into a docking bay that appeared abandoned. The airlock hissed as it opened, revealing dark corridors lit by faint emergency lights. Lyra floated ahead, her glowing hands scanning the area. There are patrol drones, she whispered. They move in predictable patterns. Follow my lead. Ethan nodded, gripping his toolkit. Together, they moved through the corridors, avoiding the drones and using shadows to stay hidden. Lyra's intuition guided them, predicting the paths the drones would take and signaling Ethan when to stop or move. Finally, they reached the chamber where the power core was kept. It sat on a platform in the center, glowing softly. But the moment they approached, an alarm blared. They saw us, Ethan shouted, diving behind a console. Lyra floated quickly, scanning the room. Don't panic. We can still do this. Distract them. I'll grab the core. Using a small drone, Ethan activated a decoy signal, drawing the patrol drones to the far end of the room. Lyra seized the moment, floating toward the core and carefully detaching it from the platform. Its glow pulsed brightly as it powered up, but Lyra stabilized it with her intuitive touch. Got it, she called. Ethan nodded, pushing the shuttle controls. Move, we need to get out now. As they retreated through the corridors, the pirates activated defense systems. Laser beams flashed and automated turrets rotated to target them. Ethan skillfully maneuvered the shuttle, dodging blasts while Lyra guided them through hidden side passages and tunnels. The chase led them into the heart of the asteroid field. Rocks tumbled in unpredictable paths, forcing Ethan to maneuver the shuttle with precision. Lyra's guidance was crucial, warning him of rocks that could crush them or cut the shuttle in half. One massive asteroid loomed ahead, moving quickly. Ethan adjusted the thrusters, banking sharply. Lyra's small hands glowed, projecting energy lines showing the safest path through the tumbling rocks. With a combination of human skill and alien intuition, they threaded the shuttle through the narrow gap. Almost there, Lyra shouted, her voice full of excitement. The pirates were still in pursuit, their small ship swarming around them. Ethan tapped the thrusters, accelerating into a wider area of the field. He and Lyra worked together, predicting movements and dodging attacks. Lyra even guided a small asteroid to shift just right, creating a barrier between them and the pursuing ships. Finally, they broke free of the densest part of the field. The pirates' ship slowed to avoid collisions, giving Ethan and Lyra a clear path back to open space. Lyra floated in relief. "We did it. We got the core." Ethan laughed, though his hands were still busy stabilizing the shuttle. "Yeah, and we're still alive. Not bad for our first adventure." The journey back to Orbita Station was tense but uneventful. Lyra kept her eyes on the core, ensuring its energy remained stable. Ethan monitored all systems, making minor adjustments to prevent overheating or energy spikes. Together, they had managed what seemed impossible, a successful recovery from a dangerous pirate outpost. When they finally arrived at the station, they docked the shuttle and carefully transferred the power core to a secure chamber. Ethan activated stabilization fields to keep it safe, while Lyra hovered nearby, her glowing form reflecting the soft lights of the station. "It's safe now," Ethan said, letting out a sigh. "We did it." Lyra floated closer, her eyes sparkling. "We did it together. And it was amazing." Ethan chuckled. "You're going to say it again, aren't you?" "Of course," Lyra said with a grin. "Can we do it again tonight, please?" Ethan laughed, shaking his head. "Maybe not tonight. We need rest. But yes, we'll have another adventure soon." They spent the rest of the evening in the lounge, reviewing the mission and planning the next steps. The power core's energy readings were stable, but Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Whoever had attacked the alien ship was still out there, and the galaxy was full of dangers they hadn't yet imagined. Still, as they sat together, Lyra floating beside him, Ethan felt a new sense of confidence and hope. He realized that with Lyra by his side, he could face anything. Her energy, curiosity, and intuition made him a better engineer, a better problem solver, and, more importantly, a better partner in adventure. "Tomorrow," Ethan said, "we figure out who did this, and why. We'll find the pirates, and we'll make sure they can't hurt anyone else." Lyra's small hands glowed with determination. "Yes, and we'll do it together." As the station's lights dimmed and the stars outside twinkled, Ethan and Lyra prepared for what lay ahead. The galaxy was vast, mysterious, and dangerous, but they had each other, and that made all the difference. For the first time, Ethan truly understood the meaning of teamwork, trust, and friendship across worlds. Lyra wasn't just an assistant or a companion. She was an equal, a partner, and a reminder that even the smallest beings could make the biggest difference. The night passed quietly, but the spark of adventure burned brightly. Ethan and Lyra knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, perhaps even more dangerous than today. But together they felt unstoppable, and as Lyra floated closer to him, her glowing eyes reflecting the stars outside the station windows, she whispered softly, "Ethan, can we do it again tomorrow?" Ethan smiled. "Yes, Lyra, tomorrow and every day after that. We face the galaxy together." Outside, the stars twinkled, distant and endless. Inside, the duo rested, ready to take on whatever the universe would throw at them. The power core was safe, the pirates temporarily thwarted, and the bond between human and alien stronger than ever. Tomorrow's adventure would be even greater. The following morning, Ethan and Lyra gathered in the station's command room, reviewing the data from their previous mission. The recovered power core was stable, but the mysterious pirates who had attacked the alien ship were still unaccounted for. Ethan studied the holographic map of the surrounding star systems, while Lyra's glowing hands traced possible paths the pirates could have taken. "They're smart," Ethan said, frowning. "They probably won't stay in one place. They'll try to hide in asteroid belts or uncharted systems." Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. "Then we need to be faster and smarter. We can find them, Ethan, together." Ethan nodded, feeling a surge of confidence. "All right, let's plan this carefully. We'll track the energy signature from the stolen core. That should lead us to the pirates' hideout." They spent the next few hours calibrating the tracking sensors on the shuttle. Ethan adjusted the frequency, while Lyra analyzed the faint residual energy of the core, predicting how it might have been transported through space. Every calculation, every adjustment brought them closer to the pirate fleet. Finally, the readings stabilized. The pirates were located in a remote star system, hidden within a dense nebula. The energy of the stolen core glowed faintly from a large station built into a rocky asteroid. Ethan's jaw tightened. This is it. The final step. Lyra floated beside him, her small form glowing softly. We can do it. Just like before, we move carefully, and together. The shuttle glided silently toward the nebula. Thick clouds of gas swirled around them, making navigation tricky. Ethan adjusted the thrusters carefully, avoiding pockets of turbulence that could damage the ship. Lyra's glowing hands hovered over the sensors, predicting safe paths and alerting him to obstacles before they became dangerous. This is the trickiest part, Ethan said, eyes focused on the console. One wrong move and we could be lost in the nebula. Lyra smiled, her voice calm but excited. Then we make no mistakes. We trust each other. Hours passed as they navigated the swirling nebula, until finally the pirate station came into view. It was large, more fortified than they had expected, with defense turrets and patrolling ships. The stolen power core was visible in the center of the station, pulsing faintly. Ethan frowned. They're ready for us. We can't just storm in. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. Then we use the same strategy. Distraction, stealth, and careful planning. We can retrieve the core without a fight if we're clever. They launched a small decoy drone, sending it past the station to trigger the turrets and patrols. The pirate ships responded, firing at the decoy while Ethan and Lyra maneuvered the shuttle closer to the core chamber. Lyra guided them through hidden access tunnels, small corridors meant for maintenance. Finally, they reached the chamber. The core hovered in a containment field surrounded by energy locks. Ethan's hands flew over the controls, carefully bypassing security measures. Lyra guided him with her intuition, pointing out patterns in the energy flow that he might have missed. Almost there, Ethan whispered. Just a few more adjustments. Suddenly, a pirate ship entered the chamber, scanning for intruders. Ethan froze. We've been spotted! Lyra's small hands glowed brightly. Don't panic! Follow my lead. With a swift series of maneuvers, Ethan activated a temporary energy shield from the shuttle, hiding their presence. Lyra directed them through a narrow maintenance hatch, avoiding the pirate patrols entirely. The core's glow pulsed gently as they floated toward the shuttle, safe for now. Once the core was secured, Ethan powered up the shuttle, dodging lasers and debris as the pirate station's defenses reacted. Lyra guided them through the nebula, using her sense of energy flows to predict the movement of asteroids and pirate ships. This way, she shouted, pointing to a narrow path that would take them out of the nebula safely. Ethan adjusted the thrusters, following her direction perfectly. They broke free into open space, leaving the nebula and pirate station behind. Ethan exhaled, a broad smile spreading across his face. We did it. We got the core back. Lyra floated beside him, glowing with excitement. We did it together. And it was amazing. The journey back to Orbitus Station was smooth. The only sounds, the soft hum of the shuttle and the occasional beep of the sensors. Ethan monitored the core's stability, while Lyra rested beside him, her glowing form pulsing gently. When they arrived, the station crew cheered as they saw the shuttle return with the recovered core. The alien vessel they had been trying to save would now have its power restored. Ethan and Lyra carefully transferred the core to its chamber, activating the stabilization fields once more. It's safe now, Ethan said, relief evident in his voice. Finally. Lyra floated closer, her eyes sparkling. We did it. We saved the ship, and maybe even prevented the pirates from causing more harm. Ethan smiled. All thanks to teamwork. And you. I couldn't have done it without you, Lyra. She grinned. And I couldn't have done it without you, Ethan. We make a good team. The station commander approached, a tall human with a warm smile. I heard about your mission. Incredible work. You two have done something that most crews wouldn't dare attempt. You've not only saved the ship, but also proven that courage and teamwork can overcome even the most dangerous odds. Ethan nodded, humbled by the praise. Lyra hovered beside him, glowing softly. It was an adventure, she said. One we'll never forget. Later, in the quiet of the lounge, Ethan and Lyra reflected on the journey. They had faced danger, navigated asteroid fields, and outsmarted pirates. But more than that, they had grown closer, learning to trust each other completely. Ethan looked at Lyra and smiled. You know, life used to feel so ordinary, quiet, safe, but with you everything feels brighter, more alive. I never imagined adventure could be this fun. Lyra's eyes glowed warmly. And I never imagined I'd find someone I could share it with. You make everything better, Ethan. He chuckled softly. So, can we do it again tomorrow? Of course, Lyra said, her glowing form hovering close. There are still stars to explore, mysteries to uncover, and adventures waiting for us. Together. Ethan nodded, feeling a sense of happiness he had never known. He realized that the galaxy was full of challenges, unknown dangers, and endless possibilities. But with Lyra by his side, he could face anything. The station lights dimmed as the stars twinkled outside the windows. The recovered power core glowed softly in its chamber, a symbol of their success. The alien ship would be saved, the pirates temporarily thwarted, and Ethan and Lyra had proven that courage, intelligence, and teamwork could overcome any obstacle. As the night settled over Orbita Station, Ethan and Lyra sat together in comfortable silence. The hum of the station was soothing, a reminder that despite the dangers of space, there was always a place to rest, to plan, and to dream. Ethan, Lyra said softly, her eyes reflecting the stars outside. Thank you for trusting me, for believing in me, for everything. Ethan smiled, reaching out to her glowing hand. And thank you, Lyra, for reminding me that life is meant to be lived fully. That adventure isn't just about danger, it's about friendship, courage, and discovering new worlds together. She squeezed his hand gently, her glow pulsing brighter. Then let's promise to keep exploring. No matter what comes next, we face it together. Together, Ethan agreed. Outside, the stars continued to shine, vast and mysterious. The galaxy was full of unknown worlds, hidden dangers, and endless adventures. But inside Orbita Station, two companions rested, ready for whatever the future held. For Ethan, life had changed forever. No longer just a quiet engineer, he was now a galactic adventurer. And for Lyra, her bond with a human had opened a world of new possibilities, filled with courage, friendship, and wonder. The night passed, calm and peaceful, but both knew that the adventure was only beginning. And as they floated side by side, their glowing forms reflecting the stars outside, one thought echoed in both their minds. No matter how vast the galaxy, they would face it together.